Welcome back to the Real Story channel. Have you ever wondered about the power of love, the darkness of magic, and the resilience of the human spirit? In the enchanting village of Afia, there exists a tale so captivating it challenges the bounds of belief and tests the strength of the heart. Meet Salima, a woman whose beauty and kindness set her apart, yet whose life takes an unforeseen turn when love leads her into a web of dark magic and betrayal. Why did Salima, despite the affection of many, choose to stand alone against the pressures of marriage? How did a fateful encounter with a handsome stranger on a secluded path change her destiny forever? And what dark forces conspired to shatter her newfound happiness, pushing her to the brink of despair? As Salima navigates the treacherous waters of love, magic, and survival, her journey unfolds with unexpected twists that will leave you questioning, how far can one go in the name of love? What strength lies within the heart of a woman scorned by dark magic and forsaken by those she loves? Join us as we delve into a story of relentless courage, undying love, and the battle against an unseen evil. Watch until the end to witness the unraveling of a mystery that binds the fate of Salima to the very essence of her being. Once upon a time, in a quaint village named Afia, there was a woman of extraordinary beauty and kindness named Salima. Her allure was such that it captured the hearts of many suitors. Despite the numerous proposals, Salima turned them all down. Her refusal was rooted in fear of marrying the wrong person and enduring mistreatment by a spouse. This led her to reject many potential matches, deeming them unworthy. Approaching 31, without a spouse or children, her mother's patience waned, urging her to settle for any of the suitors. Yet, Salima stood firm, convinced she hadn't met the right partner to share her life with. Unlike her peers in Afia village who were married with children, Salima remained alone, a situation that the villagers mocked. Despite being the subject of ridicule and pressure, Salima maintained her dignity and grace. One day, while on her way to the market via a secluded path, Salima was bitten by a snake. In agony and screaming for assistance, her cries went unheard until Musa, a strikingly handsome passerby, noticed her plight. Rushing to her aid, he swiftly transported her to the village's herbalist for treatment. Salima lost consciousness during the process. Awakening to find Musa by her side, gratitude quickly blossomed into love, a sentiment mirrored by Musa. Their mutual attraction was instantaneous. Musa's affection for Salima led him to propose, and without hesitation, she accepted. Following their marriage, Salima's joy knew no bounds. She was ecstatic to start a new life with Musa as her husband. Their life of tranquility was disrupted the day Musa's mother, Fatima, arrived unexpectedly. Fatima was infamous for her disruptive and haughty demeanor, causing many to steer clear of her due to her reputation for harnessing dark magic and wielding formidable magical abilities bestowed by the river goddess of Afia village. This only intensified the fear surrounding her. Upon Fatima's arrival, Salima greeted her warmly and prepared a meal for her. Despite Fatima's act of appreciation during the meal, her demeanor shifted upon Musa's return. She began to criticize Salima to Musa, falsely claiming the meal was bland, lacked meat, and was diluted with water. Musa, familiar with his mother's nature, dismissed these grievances. Fatima's presence soon became a source of constant distress for Salima. She nitpicked over minor errors, incessantly criticized Salima, and made her daily life challenging. Despite Salima's efforts to appease her through acts of kindness, including laundry and preparing a variety of meals daily, Fatima remained unappeased, voicing complaints about everything Salima did. Salima's role in her own home diminished to that of a servant, endlessly running errands and striving to maintain peace at the behest of Fatima. Exhausted and desperate, Salima eventually confided in Musa about the torment his mother was causing. Musa, disturbed by these revelations, confronted his mother, urging her to cease her harsh treatment of Salima. However, This led to Fatima's resentment towards Salima for involving Musa. In retaliation, Fatima enchanted Musa in his sleep, rendering him indifferent to any mistreatment Salima endured, effectively silencing any objections or recognition of the hardships Salima faced. With this spell, Fatima ensured her control over the household remained unchallenged. Salima was effectively transformed into a perpetual servant in her own home, enduring her mother-in-law's cruelty silently as her husband offered no objections, unbeknownst to her due to the spell cast on him. Despite the ongoing abuse, Salima persevered, and after several months, she discovered she was expecting. Overjoyed at the prospect of motherhood, she shared the news with her husband, imploring him to keep their upcoming joy a secret from Fatima. The hardships at the hands of her mother-in-law did not cease, and Salima found her health deteriorating over time. Eventually, she decided to seek refuge at her parents' home until the birth of her child, a plan discussed with her husband without realizing Fatima was eavesdropping. Upon learning of Salima's pregnancy, Fatima began scheming to prevent her departure. Seizing an opportunity, Fatima tampered with Salima's meal, leading to Salima's incapacitation and thwarting her planned escape. Salima, realizing her food had been tampered with, confronted Fatima, who was taken aback by Salima's boldness and retaliated with a curse. Fatima then cast another spell on her son, compelling him to neglect his wife's needs, including financial support, with the malicious intent of seeing Salima and her unborn child perish from deprivation. Salima, determined to survive, managed to sustain herself and her pregnancy through menial jobs, earning just enough for food and baby essentials. This resilience surprised Fatima, who had underestimated Salima's will to persevere. Believing the previous spells insufficient, Fatima targeted Salima's pregnancy with a new curse aimed at preventing the pregnancy from reaching term. Despite these adversities, Salima approached her delivery date with hopeful anticipation for her child's imminent arrival. She had prepared for the arrival of her baby, but as the 10th and 11th months came and went without any signs of labor, Salima was overwhelmed with distress, pleading for divine intervention for her delivery. Yet, the longer she waited, the more her situation seemed bleak. Her mother-in-law, seizing the opportunity, ridiculed her, gloating over Salima's predicament as retribution for defying her. Salima's husband, still under the effect of his mother's sorcery, remained indifferent to his wife's suffering. Salima faced this ordeal isolated, while her mother-in-law, relentless in her cruelty, introduced another woman to marry her son and expelled Salima from her home, despite her advanced pregnancy. Upon returning to her family, Salima recounted the ordeals she had endured. Her mother, deeply moved by her daughter's tribulations, welcomed her warmly, relieved that Salima had survived. Struggling into the 18th month of her pregnancy and becoming ill, Salima's mother sought help from a herbalist, who revealed the pregnancy was cursed, threatening Salima's life and her ability to give birth. Horrified, her mother learned that the curse could only be lifted by bathing in the Afia river, where the spell originated. Regaining strength, Salima bathed in the river, and within days, her health improved. Miraculously, on the 4th day, she went into labor and joyously welcomed a son after 6 hours, a stark contrast to her grim expectations. Back in her marital home, the new woman Fatima had chosen for her son, possessing formidable magical powers from her father, a respected chief priest, resisted Fatima's attempts to dominate her. Unaware of the new wife's powerful lineage and abilities, Fatima's efforts to cast a spell on her were futile, marking a significant turn in the dynamics of power within the household. However, her attempt to bewitch failed. In response, Fatima plotted to lace her food with poison. Stealthily, she entered the kitchen one night, thinking her target was asleep, to taint the soup. Unbeknownst to Fatima, Yuri was feigning sleep and witnessed the entire act. Once Fatima departed, Yuri cunningly exchanged her poisoned soup with Fatima's. The next day, Fatima, anticipating tragic news, began eating from her own soup pot, unaware it was the very one she had poisoned. After her meal, Fatima lay down, never to awaken again, succumbing to her own poison. Yuri, realizing the deadly fate Fatima had intended for her, felt a sense of relief knowing the malevolence had ended with Fatima's demise. Following Fatima's death, the enchantment over Musa dissipated. He sought out Salima, only to learn from Yuri about his mother's deceit and her own unwilling involvement. Expressing remorse, Yuri left, vowing never to return. Musa then sought Salima's forgiveness, elated to find she had safely delivered their son. He pleaded for her understanding, explaining the spell's influence over his actions. Salima, embodying forgiveness, accepted his apology and returned with their child to their home, where they discovered Fatima's fate. Though Salima mourned the loss, the family ultimately united, embarking on a joyful life together. This tale underscores the principle that harm intended for others can reverberate back to the originator, advocating for kindness and compassion in all dealings. Thank you for watching. See you in the next updated video. May God bless you.